In the Get Up. When you're traveling, do you still see the Get Up, John?
Yeah, I watched this morning.
Okay. So Dan Orlovsky was on there. It's first time back since the Super Bowl, and Dan was talking about the Rams. Listen to this.
The Los Angeles Rams have to go back a couple years ago, take one of those first-round picks and trade for Maxx Crosby. This is a Super Bowl football team. You are a player away on the defensive side, a difference maker from being better than Seattle. If you take Maxx Crosby and you put him with Young and Turner and Fisk and Poona Ford, now we got a defensive line that you could look to Seattle and be like, hey, we're just as good, if not better than yours. The Rams, I know the future quarterback question mark, that doesn't matter. Go trade for Maxx Crosby.
I love this idea.
Me too.
I freaking love this idea. Mace, I obviously, because I punish myself and watch Raider games.
Yep.
Crosby's so good. He's just his motor is. You talk about going 100 miles an hour with your hair on fire.
Yep.
That's Maxx Crosby. And if he somehow came to, I'll tell you what. If you could get him, Dan seemed to suggest he thinks you can get him for one of your number ones. I think it might take two.
Well, listen to Peter Schrager. He thinks maybe even three.
It's real that there's a lot of talk about Crosby here at the Combine. I would also add that he has been rehabbing in Vegas in the facility every single day. General Manager John Spytek said this week that he talks to Crosby via text daily and that they are in a very good place. I think from the Rams' perspective, this is an absolute no-brainer. From a Raiders' perspective, you're building anew. There's very few cornerstone pieces in that franchise. Maxx Crosby's that guy. Mendoza will be the other one. I'd be shocked if they traded him anything less than like 3 first-round picks.
That would be a great for the Rams. But
yes.
3?
Yeah, 3 is
too much.
Only one player in NFL history has been traded for 3. Do you know who it is? 3 first-round picks. One player.
If I had to guess, maybe Eric Dickerson?
No, Deshaun Watson. Ugh. Can you believe that? Deshaun Watson.
Makes it even
Really?
worse.
Number ones.
Well, I'll say this. I don't think it would take 3 number ones.
Me either.
But what you could do is take 2 number ones and give them one of those, or one of the ones, and give them one of those young defensive linemen that the Rams have. I wouldn't give him Jared Verse, but maybe one of the other guys, because Crosby's coming in there anyway.
Right. That's a little bit like what Dallas did, where they got Kenny Young in that deal, where they shipped off Micah Parsons.
They didn't need Young anymore.
Right.
This is where I'm a little hesitant about this.
Okay.
Only because it's already a strength for the Rams.
Yes, it is.
The defensive line is already a strength. Those guys will be coming up for contracts relatively soon. Basically all that young defensive front. So maybe you squeeze the most out of a cheap defensive line and use those first-round picks to build some depth behind them if you lose them and other spots where your team might need to grow. If it's already a strength, why get Maxx Crosby? You don't need him.
Well, here's why I would disagree with you. Where the Rams got burned consistently was in the secondary. Those young defensive linemen they have are great. I like Fisk. I love Young. Poona Ford's great. Jared Verse is the best of the bunch. But none of those guys can get to the quarterback like Crosby can. None of them. And if Crosby will flirt with leading the league in sacks. If he can do that, then all of a sudden your defensive backs aren't under the pressure that they were under last year. Because that's the one thing that burned them, was anytime the quarterback on the other team had time to throw, the corners and the safeties couldn't contain the elite wideouts.
It's less the time to throw and more the quarterbacks that can scramble. If they can get to a stationary quarterback, I know in the final game we played against Sam Darnold, it was Sam Darnold.
Like Sam Darnold,
sacked,
sure.
But generally, it's the quarterbacks that could escape the pocket and that could create their own time that are the guys that can escape. And that's like the Caleb Williams, the Bryce Youngs that actually burned them the most, I think. But to my point, the opposite side of my point, back in 2021, you would have said the defensive line of the Rams was their strong suit because you had Aaron Donald in the middle, and they decided to double down on that and get Von Miller.
Yep.
So, and that eventually led to a Super Bowl. So, I'm talking about both sides now.
No, that's okay. That's what we do.
There are two sides to this.
And I will say this to M's point about Aaron Donald. Maxx Crosby isn't Aaron Donald. Nobody is. But he might be the closest thing to it.
That's right. And the point is, if you pressure the quarterback, even if he's going to go out of the pocket, if you put pressure on the quarterback and then you hit the quarterback a couple of times, you're going to get in the head of that guy. And it's going to be harder for him to throw the ball to the corners or to deep or whatever, you know?
And if you talk to people, and we all do, if you talk to people who work in the NFL, ask them about Maxx Crosby.
Yeah.
It's like you're asking about Aaron Donald. Back when you used to ask about Aaron Donald, they went, you have to double and triple team him. You have to. Crosby is close to that. He is one of these guys that will wreck your game plan if you don't game plan for him. So, how old is he, Max? Is he 30 yet?
He is 28.
28.
He's still young.
That's kind of prime.
Right. I love this idea. Love
it.
But I think I'd be worried about if it was the Rams trading for him, I hope it's not both firsts this year.
I think it would be one first this year, one first next year would be the way. That's what the Micah Parsons was. It was one this year, one next year.
That makes more sense.
If I had to pick anybody of that defensive line to let go in this deal, I think I would do Fisk and keep Turner and keep Verse.
Well, you wouldn't need all three of those guys if you traded for Crosby.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if I had to give up one of those three, I would keep Turner and Verse and give up Fisk. Fisk is a fantastic player, and the Raiders would, I'm sure, love having him.
Yeah,
but I like Turner a lot.
Fisk and a number one is a good deal for the Raiders.
Yeah, it is. It is.
They would get like a young version of Crosby and a number one pick, and the Rams would get Crosby.
Although what's interesting, which defensive lineman do they need to pay this year? Is it Kobe Turner they need to pay?
Yes, Kobe Turner is older than Verse and Fisk.
And
so
Ford.
It's Young and Turner that are available for extension.
One of those guys probably makes the most sense.
Or
you could
Young
absorb
that's
Crosby's salary.
And the thing is, the Raiders wanted to take Bryce Young. They actually drafted the wrong Bryce Young on draft night back when Bryce Young for the Rams was drafted.
Yep.
There was another guy named Bryce Young that was in the same draft. Raiders ended up drafting.
Is it Bryce or Byron, M?
Sorry, Byron. I don't know why I keep on saying Bryce Young. That's the quarterback for the Panthers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Byron Young. There was a different Byron Young in the draft. The Raiders drafted him. The Rams took this Byron Young, and he's turned into a great
we got
player.
the good Byron Young.
That's so Raiders, by the way.
That is.
That is just, like, if you told me a team did that, I would say, that's my Raiders.
We mixed up our Byron Young. All right, coming up next for you, Fast Track. Mason, Ireland, 710 ESPN.